and he was talking about still trying to get more leadership from the team's veterans. And you've coached on a lot of teams, you've coached a lot of really talented players. In your mind, what makes a good leader on a college basketball team at this level? What does it take to lead a team, especially when things aren't going well?
Yeah, I just think, you got to have everyday guys, through the good, the bad, and ugly, through adversity. You need to have, someone with a voice that's going to continue to lead the team and, echo the thing the coaching staff is saying. And with us is still trying to sustain and play for 40 minutes. But from a leadership standpoint, just having consistent leadership as well.
What has the challenge been like on this team to try to bring that out when you have so many new faces and you have freshmen that are figuring it out, and guys like Zed and Justice seem a little bit more laid back, and I'm sure that like taking on a leadership role is probably pushing them out of their comfort zone a little bit. What have you seen as being the struggle there this season of trying to get that out of some of those guys?
Yeah, it's just a situation where they just have to continue to work at it, and continue to, I guess if you say get out their comfort zone to do things because they've been here, they've been around the program, they know what's expected. But at the same time, it's probably like you said, it's probably something they're not accustomed to doing, but it requires it, especially with the new faces and young guys that we have.
All right, we'll go Steve Hellwagon with Andy Backstrom on deck. Steve.
Hey, Coach. Question I have. Looking at Bruce Thornton, he went through stretch in December, early January. He was playing really good basketball, and now I know his wrist had bothered him. Just what can you guys do to get him back going in the right direction? It's been 3 or 4 games here where he struggled a little bit, and seems like he's an integral part of your success, setting the table if he's playing good basketball.
Yeah, first of all, Bruce is a guy who when you're talking leadership, I think he's a guy in the future that is going to be a great leader for this program. But to your question in regards to his play, he does a lot of things like on the defensive side. Let's go start there. He does his job, in regards to scouting report and make it difficult for the opponent. But from an offensive standpoint, he just got to stay the course and continue to take his shots in rhythm and take what the defense gives. And I expect Bruce to come out and continue, to continue to work hard, and we'll see him come out of his shooting, I guess if you want to call it a slump or whatnot.
Felix, when he's going good, what does that look like, and how can he impact the game? It felt like at Indiana he was really comfortable, and then last night he struggled again a little bit. Is that what you're just going to have to expect and deal with and manage with a young guy who's raw and really kind of emerging?
Yeah, you know what, he's I mean, he's going through the rough, it's the dog days in the Big Ten. He's got to be able to fight through some things as a true freshman. He's going to have his moments. He's going to have his moments where you see him at Indiana and what he did at Rutgers and those sorts of things. And he's going to have moments where he looks a little green out there, and those are the things that he's going to continue to work at and get better. But he's another guy who cares and will want to get better as well.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
All right, we'll go to Andy Backstrom. Andy.
Hey, Jack. As good as Bryce Sensabaugh has been this year, he's had trouble on the defensive end at times and foul trouble as well. And we saw it yesterday, fouled out for the 4th time this season. What can he do better defensively in terms of just discipline when he comes back onto the court? He's got 4 fouls, and then he fouls out 3 seconds later after checking in.
Yeah, and that's something with experience. You have 4 fouls, and he pursues the offensive rebound, and he gets called for a foul. I think just continue to have an understanding, and obviously with experience that would help him. But at the same time, he's a guy that has gotten better. But offensively, he's definitely ahead of the curve, and just got to continue to work on the defensive side, in my opinion.
And then those last 7 minutes, you guys seem to improve defensively. they didn't score at all. What went so well during that stretch, and what can be better at the start of games when you guys are getting behind?
Yeah, you know what? That is something that we have to continue to work at because we play good stretches in every game. It is what it is. It's us sustaining. If it's starting the game off, or in the middle of the game, or to end the game, we just have to put 40 minutes together so we can finish these games off. And in the Big Ten, it's not easy, and we got to continue to work to sustain 40 minutes so we can win those games.
All right, we'll go to Jack Emerson, then back to Adam Jardy for a follow-up. Jack.
Hey, Jack. It seems like in the last 6 games, the defense has kind of, turned the page a little bit, holding opponents to 45% shooting or below in the last 5 or 6 games. The Indiana game aside, obviously, but what have you kind of seen that has, encouraged you about maybe some of the strides you made on that end of the ball? And is it kind of harder to celebrate, maybe that progress when it's not really resulting in wins?
Yeah, you know what? Our DER was good enough to win the game. Obviously, we have to continue to obviously take care of the ball, but also from a defensive standpoint, there's some things that we have to continue to get better at as well. I just think sustaining effort on both sides of the ball for 40 minutes, and obviously, as a coaching staff, we've seen the growth, in those areas that you mentioned. We just got to continue to do those things and get better, because we are spending time on the defensive side, and then offensively, we just going to have to continue to get better like we were early in the year. I just think, if we can combine the two, because we know what we're capable of offensively, we know what we're capable of defense, so we can just put those two together, we will be able to close these games out.
And we'll go back to Adam Jardy. Adam.
Jack, looking at Michigan, the last couple of years when Ohio State has played Michigan, Kyle Young has primarily drawn the matchup on Hunter, and was able to use his strength and athleticism to do a lot of pretty good things against him. And you don't have a Kyle Young on this roster. How do you? What are your thoughts on how you try to slow him down? How you try to game plan for him?
Yeah, well, it's going to start off with making him earn everything. And you're right. He's a good low post scorer. He's a good passer. He will pick and pop and shoot threes. So having a plan together to slow him down. But Jet, he's a good player as well. Have 3 guys averaging double figures. They do a good job of spacing you out and trying to isolate him on the block. So it is going to start with Hunter to make him earn everything he gets in the half court setting, and don't allow him to have second chance points or opportunities as well.
And the way last night went, obviously having to coach the second half without Chris Holtmann, you've been a head coach, what those situations are like. From your viewpoint, like what was it like going through that? How much could you maybe relate to what Holtmann was going through in that moment, and then what was it like to have to coach without him?
Yeah, well, first of all, coach is fighting for our team. You go back and watch. I don't know why the texts were given so fast in that period of time, but that is something that they have to I guess address, or why that happened the way it did. But for our team, we wanted to just continue to stay the course. We knew we could get back into the game. We wanted to give ourselves a chance by putting ourselves in position to have a chance to win the game in the end, or tied or send overtime. And that's what we did. We wanted to keep the guys and keep them together and stay the course and just continue to fight. It wasn't pretty by any means, but we were, like you said, able to get some stops and get some baskets and get some momentum there. And we had our chance. You have opportunity to go to free throw line and cut it to 1, but no matter what, it was a 1 or 2 possession game at the end. And we wish we could have done a little bit better job taking care of the basketball when we had those opportunities in transition and those sorts of things. But those are the things that we have to continue to get better at, and we just want to continue to fight like coach was fighting for the team.
And if I can ask one more about Michigan with Terrace Reed, just how familiar are you with his game? What sort of impact, another kind of like Felix, another freshman kind of learning his way in the Big Ten. What have you seen watching him on film?
Well, he have his moments. Sometimes they play him and Hunter together. And those two obviously are a low post. They have a low post presence. But he's a guy that's growing as well. And at the end of the day, I think he would be a good player when it's all said and done. But he have his moments. Of being a freshman. But he's definitely a guy that has a bright future for sure.
Awesome, Coach. Thanks for the time this morning.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
Thank
Jack.
you.